Today, my name is Philip DeVries, and I am the host of a television program which you are now watching, and it is called Our World Today. Sitting with me on my left, and on your screen, it's on your right, is my friend and my colleague, Jacques van der Merwe. So give them a good smile, like we did last week, for quite a period of time.
Yeah, I was smiling quite a while.
I think I need to just mention something, that you're short sleeve and I'm with a sweater on. And for anybody that doesn't know what a sweater is, then what I want to tell you is that in South Africa, a sweater is called a jersey. Now,
And that's not New Jersey.
No.
It's an old Jersey. Sorry.
And a jersey in America means something that somebody wears on a sports court.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You put that on and you wear a jersey with your uniform. And so, yeah, I am wearing this simply because of the fact that we're changing seasons here in South Africa. And I think we're getting ready for winter. And then people in the United States that are watching are saying,
What?
yeah,
We just got through winter. We don't want to speak
There are a
about
lot
winter.
of people, Jacques, that don't even know that the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere are total opposites of each other when it comes to seasons.
Yeah.
So while the sun is going north for them to give more sun, and but down here we're getting less and less sun because
Yeah.
it's also going north.
Yeah. Now just imagine me doing summer camp 11 years, but now remember I was flying to and fro the whole time. So I had summer there, summer here, summer there, summer here for 13 seasons of
13.
summer. Endless summer. It was beautiful. Had a little bit of cold in between, autumn and spring. But otherwise, summer, 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 summer. Because a total new meaning to summer camp.
Yeah, but down in these parts, they say that means you're rich because it has to do with what do you call them? The swallows.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's prophetic. It's prophetic.
maybe there is
I'll
something
take
about
it.
that.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
All right, so today we're really going to get into
got
some
some
hot topics.
really hot stuff. And the first one we're going to begin on is the attention grabber, because this is the way it showed up on Newswire.
Okay.
And that Newswire expressed a half-truth, not even a half-truth. It could even be a truth before it's over with. But anyway, the attention grabber was the rand could hit 60 rand to the dollar by 2019. And of course, they put the name Chris Hart. Now, Chris Hart was a Standard Bank economist who was constantly speaking up as an economist on different programs here in South Africa. And he was drawing reference to the fact that there's certain things that are happening, dynamics that are happening in the country that could actually precipitate $1 bringing 60 rand. Now, currently, I mean, tell them what the current rate is.
At this stage, it's something just a little bit more than 14 rand per dollar.
Yeah.
But it does play around between 13 rand 50 and just beneath 15 rand for a dollar. Now, for us going to the US, that's almost suicide, because that means we pay, let's work on 15 rand. It means we're paying 15 times what a US citizen would pay. Now, if you take the $1 menu at McDonald's, if you buy one item from the $1 menu, it means I'm paying, if I go to the US, I'm paying for 15 cheeseburgers, but I only get one.
Right.
Now this guy is saying, all right, soon it's going to be 60 cheeseburgers, but I only get one.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
It is, well, you might get a cheeseburger for $1 here. I mean, you might, but not
That's
really.
pushing it.
It is
That's
pushing it a
pushing
bit. But nevertheless, I think the point that he was making when he spoke in March, now this is last month, he was speaking to the Cape Town Press Club.
Okay.
And he made some statements there about the economic and the political climate in South Africa. But he was also talking about the rating agencies. Now, he was mentioning about how the rating agencies have us too points away from junk status. If you put that into academic terms, that means that right now we are at what we would call a D minus on the economic scale, and which means if it gets any worse, we're actually going to be in junk status, which is a failure in an academic sense.
Okay.
So I think that we are now in a place where we're recognizing that here's a guy that's been speaking, but he's not speaking anymore because he was fired.
Yeah.
for
So
making-
he got fired about this.
well, he got fired because he started talking about the fact that that in South Africa today, we are actually in a much worse economic state than when we were 25 years ago.
That is true.
You've got to recognize that there's an element of truth in what he's saying there.
Absolutely. We see it all around us.
Yeah.
Especially when you go to the north. The conditions in the
Yes.
north economically because of mismanagement is so bad that I
And
can
all
believe
over the
that.
land. But then you get these guys that have been in these areas and now they're up at the top of government
Yeah.
that have mismanaged everything
Yeah.
in many different respects. So I think what he was talking about too is that the only answer is for South Africa to get a bailout from the International Monetary Fund.
Okay.
And the IMF are really sticky. And so if we do go into, by the ratings companies like Moody's or S&P or something like that, if we do go into junk status, the IMF is going to say, you know where you guys can go. They're not going to take it.
I mean, and even if South Africa gets bailed out financially
Yeah.
at such a position, if you still have the same people in power that's mismanaging the money, they'll be like, oh yeah, more money, and it's going to disappear because and there's hearings upon hearings upon hearings, but you don't see any results. Nobody's getting sent to jail, or I hope it's prematurely that it's still going to happen. But somebody needs to be taken, stand responsible for this. But still, we need the money back. Where is the money?
Yeah.
It needs to go somewhere. It cannot just disappear.
Well, I think our current president here in South Africa has got a tiger by the tail. And economically, he knows where this is all coming from. But how do you get to the root of it? How do you change it? One of the things that Mr. Chris Hart was saying was that in reality, if it continues in this current state, we won't have a 1 rand or $1 to 60 rand by the end of this year, but in 2.5 years' time. It's a distinct possibility. And in relation to that, he said it's because the current economic thinking is taking us down this route.
Okay.
Now, when we start looking at the current economic thinking that's taken us down this route, that's why I wanted to bring up this point, because in a couple of weeks' time, there's a gentleman coming here to George, and I want to see if we can get him on this program.
That'd be awesome.
And be able to talk with him, because he and I have been talking for 2 years about having what we would call a Christian economic summit, where we tackle the issues of South Africa. We come up with a game plan, and we literally come into a place where we get the best minds and the best mindsets of the nation, where we're looking at the Arno van die Kerks of the world. We're looking at the best economic thinkers, the ones that have made a success, even in the midst of the hard times. Why? Because they cooperated with God. Because God has an agenda when it comes to economics. And when you cooperate with God, it's not dependent upon the ways of this world. That's what I've discovered anyway.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. And I truly hope that we'll be able to get him for this half an hour to talk, because that's actually going to be very interesting.
Oh.
Will you be able to get a word in? He's going to be
knowing
talking the whole
what
time.
he's-
Do you want to get a word in when he's here?
Not really, because he really makes a lot of sense, and he's been speaking all of this kind of stuff, not only in South Africa, but he's also been speaking in Nigeria. He's been up there. He's held these economic summits. He's got another one coming up now in Nigeria.
Okay.
He's spoken in India about it, and he's spoken in the United States about it, all over.
So he's not just a localized guy that now pretends like he knows everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he did some reading up on it. He's internationally known and
he's
recognized.
internationally known and recognized, but he's also got an accountant background.
Yeah,
Sure, he
Yeah.
thinks.
yeah.
You know. All right, so that's the one thing we want to talk about.
Yeah, there's some juicy stuff that we need to engage in now.
Well, during the course of this week,
Mm-hmm.
let's not go to the juicy stuff. Let's go. Let's go to the cathedral.
Well, that's
That's
also a hot topic.
it is a hot topic. I saw a picture or a video transmission, and my wife and I were watching it briefly last night
Okay.
during the news, and ultimately, Morena had the remote in her hand. She said, "Let me out of here." Why? Because it was nothing but postulation.
Okay.
Postulation being theories. And by and large, that gets very frustrating after a while
Okay.
because they're not postulating all the different scenarios that could have brought this into existence. So they keep delaying all these different things that have happened with this whole thing. However, what we need to understand is that in the last couple of months in Paris,
France.
France, there have been 2 major fires in 2 Catholic cathedrals
Okay.
in Paris.
And this week
And
it
this
was
is the 3rd one, and this is Notre Dame. Notre Dame gets 13 million visitors a year. It is the main attraction,
It is
along with the Eiffel Tower,
and it's noticed in a lot of movies as well.
like
like
the Hunchback of
Of
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a feature point.
Yes. So I think that one of the things that people are theorizing about is this like an anti-Christian thing or an anti-Catholic thing that's coming into play here now?
Yeah.
Is there like these other 2 fires were definitely set. It was arson.
And but nobody knows yet what happened in Notre Dame.
We still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We might be getting a little bit of an inkling about it shortly, and if it does come about, we'll be happy to draw reference to it in another frame.
But they're now going to rebuild Notre Dame.
Yes, and that's the point that I wanted to make about this, because Notre Dame, Mr. Macron, the president, says we will have Notre Dame restored in the next 5 years. It will be restored
Sure. It's a
to
long
its
time.
full status. What I did see, Jacques, in one of the pictures was that in the midst of this torrential, or whatever you would call it, furnace, this fiery furnace, this cauldron that was there in the Notre Dame, there were 2 things that came out that were not touched. One was the cross of Jesus Christ. And the second thing was an altar in front of the cross.
Okay.
They were bypassed by the fire.
Okay.
I would call that something like miraculous.
It does sound to me a little bit like, if I would look at it, I would definitely say it's like God is trying to tell us all these beautiful things around you,
Yes.
all the things that you build up, all the splendor and everything like that. Take it away, because the only thing that matters is Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. And we cannot get away from the fact that that it's really a very powerful expression. And whatever your particular church background might be, the main thing is to put focus upon Jesus. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and to me, that's why I also wanted to kind of bring up about the matter of this being Easter week and
Okay.
the fire coming into play the week before Easter. I just think that that's got a lot of significance,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we call it Easter. However, Easter, I like to rather call it, this is Philip DeFries speaking. I rather call it Good Friday, Resurrection Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Yeah, because the reference Easter is actually to a god, a false god.
Yeah, And there's a lot of commemorations around it, you know, the whole thing of Easter.
The eggs
But as
and
far as,
everything like
yeah,
that.
and
Because you never see anything eggish around Jesus and the crucifixion and everything.
no, you don't. And I think those are things which mean something to children as long as the direction is taken away from the eggs and put onto Jesus.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
many of the kids that get Easter eggs, oh, Easter, Easter, what does that mean? Oh,
Yeah.
it means Easter eggs.
Yeah, let's get
And let's go and get into it. But
in the US you do all these egg hunts, don't you?
yeah, we do.
Yeah. And
I
that's fun.
participated in those egg hunts.
And it's fun.
And
it's
I
fun.
won
it's fun.
too. Because I used to be very good at that.
And the only son.
I was the only son, yes. But having said all that, it's significant all around the world. More and more, there will be celebrations about this coming significant season. Many people in mainline denominations have been celebrating Lent, and that started, I think, a month or so ago.
Okay.
And of course, they put that Ash Wednesday and they stick it up in their foreheads and makes them look like Hindus, kind of a thing. But nevertheless, I mean, but it's significant to them, and they go through these very exacting times, which, as I see it, it's a good thing. I think it's a time for searching our souls, and I really think that we need to have a real hard look at ourselves, and then begin to appreciate, Jacques, the fact that the Savior of mankind came to this world, died on the cross, and I can't get away from it because I always watch two programs over this period of time. The one is the movie produced by Mel Gibson,
Oh, okay.
and which I
The
think
Passion of the Christ.
The Passion of the Christ, starring Jim Caviezel, who was also
Amazing
a
guy.
Christian.
Yeah,
And
amazing.
but then the other one I like to watch is Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur.
Yes.
Of all things.
The old movie. I have a copy of it, and we always pull it up and we put it into our machine and we watch Ben-Hur. Why? Because, once again, it's about the crucifixion of Jesus. It's about that era and the things that go on, but it's dramatic. And I've gotten a lot of good sermon material from out of the Ben-Hur. And it's actually very excellent kind of material.
Okay.
So,
Well, it just goes to show you again. I think for myself, what I've experienced is a lot of people sometimes forget that Christianity and the fact that we choose Jesus Christ, we celebrate his life,
yes,
and we choose to follow his teachings.
yes,
It's more than just something that we do. And sometimes even I forget that it's supposed to be a reality.
yes,
And I feel a lot of times that gets lost. Because what is your expectations the day that you die?
yeah,
Is it just die and go to heaven? I've believed it for a very long time. When you die, you go sit on a cloud and play a harp.
yeah,
And I wasn't very excited about that one because, I want to do stuff.
yes,
And then you start realizing, no, but there are certain things that God has promised the day that you die, and then for the world as well. Things to be looking forward to. And it's almost like you can say this is your before life, and that's your real life.
yes,
And this is only in preparation in the period that you get to choose him. But once again, you deal with a reality. And I think church has become something that's just a thing that we do on Sundays.
Yeah.
It is Christmas, it's Easter, and we all celebrate it, and it's all good and well. But do we really realize the reality of it? And I think even with you brought it in this whole Christian-based financial system.
yeah,
Why? Why would we want to go to that direction? Because Christian, you just do it on a Sunday. But this is a reality.
this
And
is what life
we
is all
bring
about.
in your choices every
Yes.
day, asking God, what do I need to do in this situation? And interestingly enough, as I'm reading through the Bible now, a lot of times I'm now in the area of Solomon and building the temple. And there's a specific statement that grabbed my attention saying that we are all sinners and we will still fail from time to time. We are not perfect. But yet we will keep on going in this reality
Yeah.
and living for God. I hope that people realize the reality of God of Jesus and the Holy Spirit.
Yes, and Resurrection Day, without that, there is no faith.
Yes, indeed.
And indeed, we have been resurrected. We have been made alive because of the resurrection of
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And we have been promised that he's coming again. And when he comes, he's going to judge the quick and the dead. And he's going to do something to lay things out. And those who have trusted in him are going to be resurrected in the second resurrection or the first resurrection, and they are going to live forever. And they're not only going to live forever, but in that book that I talked about earlier this year, they talk about all the different activities that we will engage in as far as heaven is concerned. And I'm saying I'm excited by that.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
I'm ready anytime. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
That's reason to prepare yourself for a forever.
Yeah, forever and ever, amen. However, there's one other topic, and I want to deal with this because in my home country, I mean, we've talked about South Africa, we've talked about, we've talked about Paris, and we've talked about Jesus dying on the cross and what have you. But in the United States of America, they're currently kind of making comments.
It's a very, very, very interesting time politically in the US at this stage. And you can see the smile on my face because I've been waiting for this moment.
I know.
And every day there's something new.
There really is. And I was made aware of this because our friend from Minnesota, I'm trying to be nice about this, but Ilhan Omar, I read an article just about what did Ilhan Omar actually say about 9/11. And here's what she actually said. Here's the truth. For too long, we have lived with the discomfort of being a second-class citizen, and frankly, I'm tired of it. And every single Muslim in this country should be tired of it. CARE was founded after 9/11 because it recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties. Now, nobody can make that statement and get by with that in the United States of America. Come on. And CARE is the group that is called, it's an acronym which means the Council on American Islamic Relations.
Well, I actually want to show you the video clip.
The Democratic Party has a problem. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, known for making anti-Semitic comments, now downplaying the 9/11 terror attacks.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
The New York Post blasting Omar.
And there she said it. She actually said it.
Jacques, you saw it with your own eyes. There was the proclamation.
Yeah.
And
This is not only a story that we've got on paper. She said it on screen.
yes. Now, here's the thing. She misspoke because CARE did not start after 9/11.
Okay.
CARE actually started in 1994. And then she had to make apologies. She said she meant to talk about the double standards and all that kind of stuff. Give me a break. But having said that, Ben Shapiro is a Jew that, man, he speaks his
I
mind.
love that guy.
And this guy, he made some statements about that whole thing with her. And what happened, actually, we need to understand this, that she was speaking before the group, as I understand it, with the CARE group, CAIR. And when she made that statement, but Shapiro, what he said was this. He was talking about how in 2016 she wrote a letter to a judge asking for lighter sentences for men accused of being Islamic State group recruits, noting that these men merely choose violence to combat direct marginalization.
Well,
That's what she was saying.
isn't that basically like saying, hey, let's legalize terrorism?
You can interpret it that way. You certainly can.
But you see, it's
Lighter
like
sentences for people that have one thing in mind, and that is to try to wipe people out.
Yeah.
Come on
Just
now.
because, it's not working. But Philip, here's a couple of things that I've been seeing, because it's her, and then the other young lady.
Ocasio?
I keep on forgetting her name.
Okay.
Both of them, it seems like, with all due respect, although it doesn't help me really saying that, they sound very dumb, because they say things just to get response. They might be hired by Donald Trump to get the attention away from him. But, I mean, they say such stupid things
Yeah.
that you're like, and are you serious about it? And then, I don't know if you saw another public speaker. He went to a university to speak about certain things. And he was attacked because he said men aren't women.
Yes.
So it's like there is this thing now in the US that common sense terms like men are not women, this neutral based thing that
Yeah.
everybody is trying to proclaim, but no one is really believing in it, because we are men, they are ladies, and that's how it works.
But once again, it's the left pressed. The left press are pressing this whole issue about all these different things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's time for middle America, middle South Africa, middle whatever,
Yeah.
to stand up and say, we're not going to do this. And more people are doing it. Like during the course of this past week, a lady stood up and said, I'm a black Republican. She says, a lot of Democrats sitting here in this hearing room today don't like that because they try to make me out as a victim. She says, I'm not a victim. And but when you were talking about, the alternative to Ilhan Omar, and we talk about Ocasio-Cortez, stupid is as stupid does. And her close friend went so far after this incident happened as to compare, hear this, Omar to a victim of the Holocaust.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
A victim of the Holocaust. Now,
You see?
you
Stupid.
see, stupid is as stupid does. I mean,
What?
how
It's like
in the
there's no
world can you
control.
compare the Holocaust
No.
to what's happening to people that have freedom of expression to say whatever they want, and then they got this fawning leftist press
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over the place.
And
So-
I'm sure Israel is going to feature in the middle of that as well. I saw a map the other day of saying, just showing how many countries are Muslim controlled in comparison to Israel. And it's this huge region, with Israel being this little teeny
Tiny
bitty.
little split.
And now you want to say that everybody in the world is oppressing all these countries, but yet they're mostly doing it to themselves, aren't they?
Very much so. And there's also that split between the Shiites and the Sunnis.
Yeah, yeah.
That sometimes that gets really scary, especially in places like Iraq and a couple of other places.
Yep,
Gets
yep.
very scary in there.
No mercy whatsoever.
Well, the other thing that I wanted to finish up with on this was that Ben Shapiro was saying the Democrats who hide behind the charge of incitement are simply attempting to squash debate. And he said this is far more dangerous than for Mr. Trump to come out with a tweet about 9/11 relating to Ilhan Omar.
yeah, that makes for some great entertainment, because I mean it's really stupid.
Yeah.
It's really stupid. So
Well, we've come near to the end of the program, and we need to talk about what's going to happen next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about the New Nation Initiative. It's now 2.5 million strong.
wow,
It's growing by
That's
leaps
not
and
bad.
bounds. And there's going to be a major march in all the major cities of South Africa, plus many, many towns.
okay,
Christians of all backgrounds are going to link together in the love of God, and are going to make a very, very strong statement. They're all going to dress in white. There's going to be white either on the top or the bottom or whatever, but this is going to be called Freedom, True Freedom Day.
okay.
And it's going to be commemorated because it's anticipating our elections coming up, and we're looking for certain values to be esteemed, so much so that maybe we'll have the biggest shock of the world coming up on May the 9th when we hear the end results of what's coming out.
Yeah,
Yes.
because God can do miracles. He can change things.
Overnight.
And we're looking forward to that.
And can a nation be born in a day? Yes, the Bible is
yeah.
very clear.
That is true.
And having said all that, young man, I want to say thank you for joining me today. And
Always
to all
fun.
of you watching, thank you for sharing with us. And please keep getting the word out, because we're just going to keep pouring out all of this wonderful information. But the mostly what we're trying to do here is not just to talk and entertain you, but we're trying to get you engaged in life, to get involved in your communities, to do what is necessary, to let your light shine before all men, that they may see your good works. And having said that, the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you and give you his perfect peace. That's all for now. Bye-bye.